Welcome to my manufactured reality. This is my manufactured reality. Port Jackson. Port Douglas is in far north Queensland. We're in the Coromandel Peninsula. I lived a long time in Port Douglas. Great spot. Probably the best winter of my life. Anyway, here we are. Port Jackson. It was something. Port Douglas will be mentioned in this video. We'll talk about echo chambers. I'll tell you about an echo chamber that I lived in as an example, Port Douglas, in 1997, the winter of 1997 in the Southern Hemisphere. But here we are, my manufactured reality, Port Jackson, Coromandel Peninsula, Great Barrier Island at the back there. I am manufacturing for you a reality. Even though this beautiful landscape is here, I'm bringing you here and manufacturing an image of my life here and saying, wow, what an amazing life you're living. You're traveling around the country, your country of birth in your van, making videos like this. And I'm giving you an image of what my life is like in a moment. But what I'm not giving you and what you're not seeing is what you're not living is what I am in the present moment. Present moment to moment in my body. All the pain, the suffering, the anguish, the gamut of emotions that you will feel, the software programs that run through your body as you have triggers, memories, experiences, and you do your best. You do your best to be as virtuous and honorable in all those situations that play themselves out. In the last 6 weeks for me, it's been anguish. It's been frustration and sadness and joy and euphoria. So many emotions have run the gamut of my entire existence, of my entire body, mind, and spirit. And the last 2.5 weeks for me have been so incredibly hard. So hard on my body, mind, and spirit, on my emotional body especially. I had to surrender every day. Wake up in the morning, have something happen to me that I have to surrender to, and believe that I am in the flow state. I am in the flow state. I am in a flow state. Even though the experiences that I'm having denote that I'm not. And my friend Stephanie Saylor, who's a contact care practitioner, said something to me very, very poignant the other day in regards to how this all works. If you look at it in a Taoist sense, a seed can last for 500 years if it's stuck somewhere. But at the right time, at the right moment, in the right timing, it will blossom, it will germinate, it will grow into a tree. And that's the way I'm looking at the situation I find myself in. Even though I'm manufacturing a reality for you, I'm having all these experiences that are testing me and testing my resolve to be more virtuous and more honorable in my life. I am still manufacturing in this moment a reality for you. And so many people do this in the digital age. They manufacture a reality about their lives, where they're living, what it's like to live somewhere for a whole year, what it's like to travel somewhere for a while, what it's like to go to a location, what it's like to be somewhere, how wonderful their lives are on Instagram, on Facebook, on other social media platforms. They're portraying their lives in this amazing, beautiful way that you think, oh, they're living such incredible lives. How many people actually tell you and show you what they're really going through and how they really feel when they're torn to pieces inside, when they're feeling miserable and horrible? No one wants to see that, right? Well, that's the nature of what I'm trying to do my best to do in my experiences, is to explain to you when I share my life with you in these videos, is get to know the man who created the books that I've written, 13 books that I've written, all the videos that I've made. I've done my best to explain my life, what I'm going through, what I'm learning, what I'm experiencing, what I'm doing, my evolution, my personal evolution, what I'm experiencing, what I'm questioning, what I'm wondering. Because the more I learn, the more I study, the more I have questions about the nature of reality, the nature of everything. I'm just completely full of questions and no answers. That's my life now. Just more questions and no answers. And you know what? I'm working out my own personal experiences and perceptions around reality from moment to moment. But in the last couple of weeks, I've had friends living in Bali who've been sending me images of how wonderful their lives are. And in those images, I am seeing what I would consider an echo chamber. And I consider this an echo chamber through my own perceptions. the classic example of the echo chamber that I'm seeing of these people living in Bali is that no one's old, no one's ugly, no one's fat. Everyone's beautiful, everyone's lean, everyone's incredibly good at what they do, everyone's really good looking, and everyone's young in these videos. No one's old. No one's old, no one's fat, no one's ugly. And what I'm hearing from this individual who's sending me these videos is that life in Bali is amazing. It's so amazing. So amazing. That's her experience, but it's also an echo chamber. It's also a manufactured reality that she's been sending me as well. The videos that she's been sending me are a total manufactured reality of what she's experiencing, the best moments she could possibly have. And she's sending me those moments, and those moments give me an idea, a perception of what her life is like. And then on the flip side of that coin, she's telling me also that how she's hanging out with digital cryptocurrency multimillionaires and young people who have got incredible ideas, entrepreneurs about how to create incredible companies and corporations that will change the world forever. But it sounds to me, and this is just my perception, like she's living in an echo chamber of people that are basically on the same wavelength and the same mindset, have the same lifestyle due to the nature of their choices that they've made in their lives, and they are all in that place where they're all feeding each other information, working around with each other, seeing each other every day, and also, I mean this in the most funniest and also comedic way, blowing smoke up each other's asses. I'm going to give you two examples of manufactured realities and echo chambers that I've existed in. Number one being Port Douglas in Australia. I was working on the thin red line. I got to Port Douglas, first of all. I got to Port Douglas in 1997, in July 1997. And I got a job at Mango Jam Cafe as a barman. And then I heard they're making a movie up there called The Thin Red Line. So I went to found the casting agents, and I was in the casting agent's office every day for 2 weeks. Every day, morning and the afternoon. Got any work, got any work, got any work, got any work, as an extra. Because I knew they had lots of extras on the film. And it was a war movie, so it was all basically men, young men, Second World War. So I eventually ran into one of the casting agents, said to me, fuck, I'm tired of seeing your face, we got you a day tomorrow. And then from there on, I was on this job for 4 months. Now, Port Douglas at this time, in 1997, the winter of 1997, which is July, August, or June, July, August, is the winter in Port Douglas. In Australia, in the Southern Hemisphere, it was the best winter of my entire life. There's no doubt about it. It was incredible. We took over that town. The extras, the film, the people that moved on, we came to Port Douglas to work in Port Douglas over that winter, we took over that place. There was probably a migration, I think, between 2,500 to 4,000 people came into Port Douglas to work on that film and to be there at that time. And the people and the friends that I met there, we all created this massive, manufactured this reality and in this echo chamber of how wonderful our lives were. How we partied together, we spent time together, we ate together, we took drugs together, we did crazy adventures together, we worked together. It was a massive echo chamber of people and a manufactured reality of how we chose to interact with each other and what our lives were like out in this bubble that was Port Douglas at this time. It was incredible. It was the most amazing, frivolent, vibrant, funny, beautiful, resplendent and powerful moments of my life. 4 of my best friends I met there, I've been still quite close to over the years. They were all there in Port Douglas, so I met them. I worked with 2 of them on the Thin Red Line as extras and travelled with them around Australia as well for about almost a year and lived with them in Perth for almost 9 months in Perth. And one of my friends is still there. One of my friends in Port Douglas is still living in Perth. He's Canadian. But it was the best time of my life. It was incredible. The second, and this is the most poignant for me, echo chamber that I was living in was in Vancouver from 2001, 2002 to end of 2003, where I was doing copious amounts of cocaine, copious amounts of coke, because I was a total drug addict, where I was living with people who were in the same place that I was, were drug addicts themselves. We were drinking red wine, occasionally smoking marijuana, but to take the edge off the cocaine hits because we were so high. We were doing 3-day benders. We were just like on one the whole time. I was what you'd call a cocaine vampire. David Bowie cocaine vampire for like 2.5 years. I was so hooked on the drug. But I was in an echo chamber and a manufactured reality where everyone was blowing smoke up each other's fucking asses, telling them how wonderful they were, creating these ideas about how we make these different short films and these movies and these music videos. Sitting around a table, snorting heaps of cocaine, blowing smoke up each other's asses, telling how wonderful we were, how our creative ideas will come to fruition, how we were going to start a band, how we were going to, which we did. It didn't last very long, but we did. I was the lead singer. How we were going to make these videos for my friends' bands, other bands, the creative ideas that came around that table, the people that sat around that table for almost a year and a half, 2 years, we were blowing smoke up each other's asses in an echo chamber that was totally manufactured by cocaine and bravado. But nothing came of it because it was what it was. It was an echo chamber. We were just basically blowing smoke up each other's asses. That's what it was. It was all bravado. There was no action behind our words. The days afterwards, we were coming down, the last thing we wanted to do was to work to actually go ahead and bring our fantasies into a reality. Because we were feeling like shit. So therefore we go back into the place, we start taking drugs again, and by doing that, reaffirm the walls of our echo chamber and manufacture our reality in a way that suited what we needed at the time. But here's the kicker to me, and in regards to what we're doing here. There's nothing wrong with manufacturing reality or being in an echo chamber if that works for you, but it's not real life. It's not real life. Real life is dealing with issues and problems with people, with being triggered, with doing, if you want to be self-conscious and self-aware and self-realized, it's about growth. It's about confrontation, looking at oneself in the mirror. It's about coming to a place of deep, unsettling feeling, often with oneself, one's life, and reassessing oneself moment to moment as things come up in one's life. It's not giving people an image of how their lives are in a way that makes you feel almost jealous, and also makes you feel kind of sad that your life is so shitty. That's not in any way reality. To me, it's a manufactured reality, and to me, it's an echo chamber of someone, and people do this all the time on YouTube, on Instagram. You know, people that aren't giving you information that's informative, because there are people on Instagram and YouTube that give information that's informative and also lessons about life. But there are many people who give us manufactured realities, and also who are in echo chambers, send us videos and information about how wonderful their lives are and where they're living at the time. But it's not fucking reality. It's not reality. They're living in echo chambers, often, these people that send me, at least anyway, how images and videos of their lives. They're living in echo chambers where everyone and everything is basically doing the same thing. Blowing smoke up each other's asses. They're all beautiful and young and good looking. They're all very good at what they do. These are the images and videos I'm getting from people in Bali. And they tell me how wonderful their life is in Bali. But it's not, in my perception at least anyway. They're living in a place in a world that's manufactured, even there in Bali itself. They're living in a world which, hey, it's great to live there if you can live there, and of course, planes flying overhead. If you're living in a place like that, and you come from the West and you've had a good job and you've had a corporate job or you've made a lot of money and you can live there cheaply, you can live like a king in Bali. And therefore you are manufacturing a life for yourself because you're living in a beautiful location with people all around you who are in the same place, doing the same thing that you are, and you have the opportunity to go to wellness retreats, wellness experiences, yoga classes, qigong. Everything you can imagine is all on Bali. I get it, but it's also a place where it's a fantasy island. And realistically, Bali is a fantasy island. You can go surfing, you can party, you can have lots of promiscuous sex or meet a beautiful partner or wife there. Everyone who's gravitating towards that place generally, who moves towards that place, towards Bali in general, is living in a manufactured reality. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's still not real life. You come and live, a lot of those people that live on that island, I'll take myself for example, okay, in regards to Port Douglas. When I was living in Port Douglas, my life was incredible, absolutely fucking amazing. I was like the king of the castle. I was like a rock star amongst rock stars. It was incredible. The way I was treated in that town by people, the publicans, the restaurant owners, the cafe owners, they all knew who we were. They all treated us like rock stars. When I left that place, no one knew who I was. No one cared. I was just another Joe Blogs. That's all I was. I was no one, nothing. The same thing when I left Vancouver. I was in Vancouver, I was a rock star. I was treated like a rock star wherever I went. One woman would fall on at my feet to wanting to have sex with me due to the nature of my prowess as a lover, because the amount of women I slept with in Vancouver, I had this reputation that preceded me. Lots of women wanted to have sex with me and be with me in that way because of the nature of my attentiveness as a lover. But when I left Vancouver and came back to New Zealand, I was a small fish in a big pond, and no one cared. And that's the whole point, is that I manufactured a reality in Vancouver, and wherever I've been, I've manufactured a reality. And this is actually what humans do on some level as well. We do this. We manufacture a reality, and we move into echo chambers where our reality is reaffirmed by other people around us who are having the same experience or want to have the same experience. And we do this, but it's not fucking reality. It may be reality in the bigger sense of the word reality, but it's not the real everyday, every moment-to-moment reality. The moment-to-moment reality is very, very different. We have so many things that we have to negotiate through and move through in our lives. And if we want to become more self-realized, as I do, then I have to look in the fucking mirror, which is other people. If I meet, everyone that I meet is my mirror, and then wonder to myself, if I have a situation where there's tension, where there's discordance, or I'm discombobulated by the experience, or there's anger, frustration, or there's just not harmony or peace in the connection and the relationship that I'm having with the individual and I'm hanging out with at that moment, or the experience that I'm having, how I feel about what I'm experiencing. I have to deeply go into that place of surrender and go like, oh my God, okay, I surrender to this moment. I'm on my knees being as humble as I possibly can, asking and praying for grace from the Creator. These moments in my life, the last 2.5, 3 weeks, have shown me just how much I personally manufacture my reality and how much of an echo chamber I've lived in for such a long time. And have shown me just how far I need to come back down into reality, to be humble and have the humility before my Creator and say to my Creator, I am your vessel, body, mind, and spirit, move through me. And in that place, the manufactured realities, and I'm manufacturing reality by doing that too, right? By coming to that place of deep surrender and trust. It's still a manufactured reality, but it's a very different one. And that choice in me is coming to that place of humility and humbleness before my Creator. And saying, all the experiences I've had before, that have come before, I am so grateful for all those experiences. But I see them now for what they are, through my mirrors, other people that have shown me the manufactured realities, the echo chambers that I've lived in, because they themselves are living in those echo chambers and those manufactured realities. And here's the kicker. Here's the kicker for the manufactured reality of Bali. One of my friends who's over there, she said to me how wonderful it was to live over there with all these amazing people, crypto-millionaires, young entrepreneurs, wellness movement people, because she's living in Ubud in Bali. But she did say the one thing that's really pissing her off and she's finding really hard to deal with is that all these men want to have sex with her. No one wants to actually connect with her and spend time with her and actually get to know her as a woman. All they want from her is sex. And therein, for me, lies the kicker. The reality. Manufactured reality is very different to the reality. And people could say it's part of the bigger picture. It's not necessarily her experience. You can set hard boundaries. But that's her lesson in that moment. The reality and the manufactured reality are two different things. And she has the opportunity to bring them together and find a place where she can have her manufactured reality and her reality meet in the middle and find harmony and coordinates. Harmony and cohesion. Coordinates. Coordinates! No, not coordinates. Cohesion. And that's where I'm at in my life, looking for that cohesion between my reality and the manufactured reality that I am doing my best to create, co-creation with the universe in that way. Thanks for watching. I truly appreciate it. Matewa. I'll see you again soon. Enjoy the view. beautiful, isn't it?